Hey everyone, welcome to Reverse Homesteading and welcome to what's been sitting on my windowsill for months. It has taken so long. It is winter here in the southern hemisphere in Melbourne, Australia, so everything's going to grow more slowly. The main reason why I put some basil in a jar at the end of May and thought, ooh, I'll have basil for winter. I have had basil for winter but not enough to use. It's grown this much here up whilst it's been sitting in water for months. 3 months in the water, that's how much it's grown, which is, a good effort, the poor little thing. And it's been in sunlight, but you can see it's deficient in nutrients. So I have grown basil over winter before, but I started in summer, not in autumn. And I think that makes all the difference if it's in a growth phase, because I'll show you what's happened with the roots. It's started to put little black roots out the top, but that's only been in the last few weeks or so. Hard to see. I'll take this topper off. These are little polymer toppers that I made for flowers and things. Yeah, so you can see it's tried to grow roots, and I was thinking, oh, perhaps I should plant it while it's doing that. But it's been so cold. It's been a very cold winter, and as you can see, I thought it would do it sooner, but it's just starting to rot off at the bottom. So I'll have to chop that bottom part off if I'm going to plant it, and I will have to reduce a lot of the leaves if I plant it because it's already struggling. So, case in point, if you're in a cold climate, get these things well and truly started before you get into the cooler months where it won't grow very fast. So in my case, I should have really started this in summer. These are from the shop. I'll link the video here for how I made these. And I've done it before, but as we only landed here at the end of summer, really, we had so much to do before I got into the garden, so it's not my own basil. But this year I will know if I want basil in winter, start in summer. Hopefully that information will help some of you out there. Next thing, sweet potatoes. Aren't they beautiful leaves? This is a purple skinned sweet potato. Obviously it's been in there since April, growing away happily. It was a bit slow to start, but the interesting thing is this was the first one. So that one with its obligatory little spring onion, shallot, green onion waiting to go out into the garden. I'll have to do that today. It has barely grown anything. It was the first one, so it's been in there at least 4 months or so, and it is doing things, so I will keep it. I'll probably put it in a better container, but hard to find a big container for that. So I will keep it. It just makes me think about where I got them. This was one of the two major supermarkets, I can't remember which. These two came from a specialist grocer, so like a fancy supermarket, just because I happened to be there that day and they had these varieties that I wanted. They're hard to find in normal supermarkets, and these have gone really well. This one was slow to start, but then it was actually doing better than all of them. This one, slow to start, and man, makes me think of what they allegedly don't do anymore, but they used to put some sort of herbicide on the top growth of sweet potatoes that are grown commercially. Terrifying stuff. And then it makes it easier to harvest the tubers, of course. And they say it doesn't go into the vegetable, but yeah, let's not say anything more on that. So it makes me wonder about this one that came from a main supermarket. But this has grown beautifully. This is a white sweet potato. Look how long it is. I'll show you outside. It's easier to show you outside how long it is. Well, it's got beautiful roots. It's growing really well. So I am going to do something with that outside. This one really, really needs to be planted. This is the celery plant that I regrew from something in my fridge. And it does have tiny little roots. Have forgotten to water it a couple of times, so I was going to put it out, and I thought, oh, I'll wait till it comes back again and then I'll plant it out. So that day is today, and I'll have to put some possum protection around it as well. I'll show you all that in a minute. Before I get started on the other things, just putting my little leftover from the supermarket and cooking in the garden. Little green onion or shallot. We call them spring onions here in Melbourne. Even within Australia, people call them different things. Alright, so that's ready to go. We'll just give it a water in and it'll be shooting off like the rest of them. These are from the supermarket, left over from cooking, and these are my seed grown ones up the top, which are almost catching up. They're not as old as the others. I'm going to show you how tall this white sweet potato had grown. I haven't measured it, but it's a fair height. The thing is with sweet potato is you can plant them in the ground like that, but in the past in Melbourne I've had issues with rats trying to gnaw the tuber. Don't blame them really. But what I'm going to do is rip these off, and what I learnt about that in the plant nursery that I worked in is that it keeps more of the node intact if you rip it rather than cut it, because if you cut it you're into the branch, not the actual tuber itself and where the roots are growing out from. So if you plant the plant in the ground rather than the tuber, you're less likely to have issues with rats attacking it and ruining what you're trying to do. So here we have just a cheap potting mix, and I'm going to put some well-rotted cow manure in the top and then some cutting mix in the top. Seed and cutting mix, it's a finer mix, and that will help the cutting grow really well. So I am going to cut the lower leaves off, which is also something you do when you're expecting sweet potato once it's out in the garden bed, because that's where the sweet potatoes grow from here. So the root goes down once this is in contact with the soil, and you cover it up with soil. I'll show you that when I get to that point, but we're still trying to make this grow roots because all of the roots at the moment are on the tuber. So we need this to be a bit proactive and grow some roots. Little nasturtiums are doing well. Little ones grown from seed. Everything else seems to be pretty happy. My cuttings. And hopefully these little basils will be quite happy here. It's very warm today. Well, at least in here. I'm wondering how much longer I'll be able to use it if we get a lot of sunlight, but it is shaded a little in here. So here's my little basil harvest from the cuttings. I'll have that on a salad for lunch or something like that, and I'll have to find a taller container for these little ones. I would have planted out these with huge roots. I didn't realise all of the roots were so attached to the stems, but I don't have the soil for that garden bed just yet. And this little one is going to go into the compost. I'll probably chop it up beforehand. That's how I grew them. And I was going to give it a bit longer, but it's starting to rot at the base, so I don't really want that in the kitchen. So yes, into the compost it will go. So thanks for watching. I hope you're having fun in your garden. We'll see you next time.